There it is.
Oh, okay. Call to order the regular meeting of Paramount City Council. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Elisa Ravelis, Youth Commission historian and JROTC member, and the invocation by Pastor Terry Beasley, Chapel of Change Church. All please rise.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Thank you.
Do we have the pastor here? No.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you once again in the mighty name of Jesus. God, we thank you today for our life, our health, and our strength. And Father, I pray now for this meeting. God, I pray, God, that you would give us wisdom. Father, I pray for all these city officials. God, I pray that you would just use them in a special way. God, we pray that everything will be fruitful tonight. And God, I pray that everyone will be one accord. We thank you so much, Father, for your presence. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you both. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Guillen. Here. Councilmember Lemons.
Here.
Councilmember Olmos.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer.
Here.
Mayor Hansen.
Here. We have a couple of presentations tonight. If the council will please join me at the podium. Hello, everyone. Okay, there we go. All right. Tonight we have a few presentations for some special people in our community. First, would Elisa Ravelis please join us here? Elisa, of course, led us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. She graciously helped out this week before Veterans Day as a member of Paramount JROTC. She is also a member of the Youth Commission and serves as the group historian. We want to thank her, and we wish to take a photo too, if we could. Okay, would Liliana Martinez please come up? Oh, okay. November is National Flu Awareness Month, a time to remind people about guarding against this very contagious condition. Like many employers, the City of Paramount offers free flu shots to all our employees. We encourage everyone in the community to get their shots this year. To accept this proclamation is Ms. Martinez, Director of Health Education and Outreach for the Paramount, or the Children's Clinic of Family Health. The Children's Clinic provides health care services to our community to low-income children, youth, adults, and seniors. They offer primary and preventative care, acute and chronic care, family planning, prenatal care, chronic disease management, and much more. We appreciate their work very much. And would you like to say a couple of words?
Are you actually, you're not with the Children's Clinic, no?
Oh. Oh, different Martinez. Oh, sorry. Is she here? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have a flu shot. Okay, well, we'll go back to that then. How about Felicia Akamal? Okay. Would you please come up? She's on her way. There are about 73,000 teachers in 56 school districts throughout Los Angeles County. This past September, 16 of them were named County Teachers of the Year. 16 out of 73,000, that's a pretty elite group. Tonight, we welcome one of those honorees, Felicia, who we are very proud to say works Paramount Unified. She is an intervention language arts specialist at Paramount Park Middle School and has been teaching for 15 years. The Teacher of the Year program recognizes educators who have shown excellent dedication, compelling classroom practices, positive accomplishments, and professional commitment. These 16 will advance to statewide competition this month. 5 will be selected as California Teachers of the Year. We hope you're one. Then one of those will represent California in the National Teacher of the Year contest next spring. Hope you're there too. Tonight, we offer our profound congratulations to Felicia for this remarkable achievement. And we also wish her best wishes as she moves forward in this next level. Thank you for representing Paramount Unified School District and the City of Paramount so well. We have this. Oh, got another one too. Well, yeah, well, turn around that way. They're going to take a picture. That's all we have presentations tonight. Thank you for everyone for joining us. Okay, City Council public comment updates.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, these updates are from the October 15th City Council meeting. The first one to report back to you on is from Ms. Desiree Taylor. She had 2 requests. Actually, one was a request and one was a concern. The first request was to paint Keep Clear at the driveway to 15500 Downey Avenue. As you may recall, we were successful at painting Keep Clear on the other side of the street. She asked for it on this side of the street. Our traffic engineer went out to review the request and deemed that this location does not meet the guidelines for installation according to the California Manual for Uniform Traffic Control Devices, and he cited a section number for that. Her concern, her other issue was someone indicating that they are representing the city had entered her property to take pictures of the property. We checked our fleet, and none of the vehicles in our fleet fit the description of the car that was seen at her location. Next was Ms. Yolanda Flores. She was concerned for a dispute occurring among parents of the Paramount Girls Softball League. That is, a new group of players had been formed and would like field space accommodated to this new group. We met with Paramount Girls Softball and with a group of parents as well who had left Paramount Girls Softball. And we created space for this new group, and we've informed Paramount Girls Softball of the new field space schedule. And that concludes my report. Back to you.
Okay, thank you. Public comments.
Yes, sir. We have quite a few tonight. We have 10 speaker cards. One of the speakers is for item number 12, Mr. Jimenez. When item number 12 comes up, Mr. Jimenez will call you up at that time. Okay, you're welcome. Our first one, Mr. Mayor, is from Ms. Sandra Decay, and she'd like to address the council about general public concerns. Ms. Decay?
Thank you for this opportunity to address this council on public concerns about the proposed sales tax increase, about this increase in the city of Paramount. If imposed, this measure would raise our sales tax on all purchases to 10.25% and tax on all, and would make our sales tax rate the highest in the local area as well as almost anywhere in the state of California. This initiative would raise our sales tax to match only two other cities in the state of California, Long Beach and Glendale, giving the city of Paramount and these two other cities the highest sales tax rate in the entire country of the United States, the whole country here. Quite a distinction. And what is this added revenue going to be used for? Road improvements, city projects like sidewalks and public safety. But wasn't the reason for the first 2.2 and then another 3% user fee on all of our utilities, including our electric, gas, cell phone, internet, and cable bills? Wasn't that what it was supposed to be used for? Funny how this comes after the city proposes a large golden parachute, also known as exit packages for highly paid city employees like city manager, city attorney, and yes, even the council members upon leaving their appointed and or elected positions. Not to mention the city council a recent vote to increase their own benefits and salary. What the city does not tell you is how it will affect our seniors and those like myself who are disabled and on fixed incomes, or that the poorest neighborhoods in need of the most repairs on the north end of Paramount have gone neglected by this city council for years. 3 years ago, I stood here to address the deplorable conditions of the sidewalks on Somerset Ranch Road near Roosevelt Elementary School, where I see mothers with strollers walking in the road near the freeway entrance because of the dangerous sidewalks, none of which, as yet, have been repaired. I, for one, say no. This is just another money grab by the city of Paramount meant to line the pockets of those who do little, if anything, for the city of Paramount where it's mostly needed. And if passed, I will stop shopping in the city of Paramount, and so will all my friends, family, and neighbors. We've all agreed this is wrong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I can make a few clarifications here.
Sure.
There were 15 cities surveyed in the presentation that you'll see before you tonight. Of those 15, 10 cities are at the county maximum, and all 10 of those are in our area, and 5 of them are at 9.5% like Paramount is. So none of them are at, we're in the company of others that are in the higher tax level. And those 5, many of them are looking to increase it to 10.25 as well. In addition, I just want to clarify that if the council votes tonight to put this on the ballot, it'll be the voters who will be deciding that. And it does not apply to such things as groceries, prescriptions, medical things of that nature, baby food, rent, things of that nature. So it's just purely on goods. So with that.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask
Okay, yeah.
one question?
Okay.
Just for clarification, there was something mentioned about voting for city council benefits and salaries and city attorney package and all this. There's been no increases in any benefits or wages, or anything like that to do with city council or
With-
the
with the
attorney
council, the
or
attorney, no.
benefits, right?
No, there haven't
Okay,
been.
just wanted to be clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Next.
Yes, our next speaker, Mr. Mayor, is Ms. Andrea Crow from the Paramount Library. Ms. Crow?
Good evening. Mayor Hanson, council members in the city of Paramount. This month, we're celebrating Native American Heritage Month at Paramount Library with 2 special events. On Saturday, November 16th at 2 o'clock, children will learn about the traditional artwork of the Chumash people and then recreate their own Chumash-style rock painting. Wednesday, November 20th at 11 a.m., adults will make cornhusk dolls, which were made by a number of indigenous groups across the Americas and are still made in various nations all over the United States. We're also hosting Teen Tuesdays every Tuesday in November at 4 o'clock. Next week, on November 12th, teens will learn about graphic novels and make their own comics. And for adults 65 and older, Medicare open enrollment is here. Come get your Medicare questions answered by an expert consultant on Wednesday, November 13th at 5 o'clock. Learn more about these and our other great programs at lacountylibrary.org. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, next one is Ms. Maria Cerda, and Ms. Cerda will need the Spanish interpreter. So if I can ask the Spanish interpreter to come forward, as well as Ms. Cerda.
Empieces, preséntese. She's asking if she's only going to get 3 minutes with an interpreter.
Excuse me, say that.
She's asking, am I only going to get 3 minutes with the interpreter?
Well, maybe with the interpreter, we could go another minute or so.
It's up to the mayor to decide.
Yeah. We're not going to go 10 or 15 minutes, though, no.
10-15 minutos quiere? No, okay.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre
Good afternoon.
Teresa Cerda.
My name is Maria Teresa Cerda,
Estoy aquí representando a la
and I'm here
comunidad
representing the Latin community.
Muchas gracias por todo lo que ustedes
Thank
están
you
haciendo
for everything that you're doing for us,
nosotros los,
for all of
la
us,
comunidad aquí en la
and
ciudad
for
de
the whole
Paramount.
community right here in Paramount.
Pero tengo algunas preocupaciones.
But I have a few concerns.
Okay, en primer lugar,
First of all,
residente de las
as
calles
a resident
Perilla
of la calle Perilla in
Passage,
Passage,
tenemos muchas dificultades.
we
con
have a
el
lot of difficulties in parking.
Nosotros estamos teniendo,
We're having,
estamos notando que
we're
tenemos
noting
muchas banquetas en
that we
rojo
have a lot of sidewalks and they're painted red,
y con espacios bastante
and with the
grandes,
spaces really, really large.
donde se supone que
We're-
no pasa
we're supposed-
ningún carro de emergencia o por
They're
el
not
estilo,
supposed to have any emergency cars passing by,
o que necesitan un espacio muy
or
grande
maybe they need
para
a
que
large space,
estacione un bombero o
so
algo por el
maybe a
estilo.
fireman could park there or something in that style.
Y que esas partes rojas se pudieran quitar.
Maybe those red sidewalks could be removed.
Nosotros también estamos teniendo dificultades
We're also
con,
having difficulties
con los carros que están un poco más grandes que los
with
que deberían de
large
estar.
cars than the ones that should be there.
Entiendo que la mayoría de la
I
gente no
understand that
ganamos,
most people,
grandes cantidades de dinero,
we don't make a lot of money,
pero también podemos hacer algo
but we
para
can also
sugerir,
do something to make a suggestion,
o la ciudad pudiera hacer
or
algún
maybe
tipo
the city could
de
do some kind of
concesión
maybe a concession,
para que la gente pudiera
so
comprar
that
carros más
people
pequeños.
maybe can, buy something spaces a lot smaller.
Ese problema no ha sido resuelto.
The problem hasn't been resolved yet.
He escuchado de varias personas
I heard from some people
que han dado algunas ideas a la ciudad,
that they have given you some ideas here to the city,
pero ninguna ha sido aceptada.
but none of them has been accepted yet.
Entonces ahora hemos tenido
Therefore,
una
now,
persona que nos ha visitado
We have a person that came to visit us,
y nos quieren pintar unas T's
and they want to
en el
paste
piso
some T's on the floor
para dividir
to
los
divide
espacios
the
entre un carro y
spaces
otro,
between one car and the other,
para que las personas que vivimos
so
en
that
el
the
área
people
nos
that we live in the
aparquemos en el
area,
estacionamiento.
maybe we can, reserve a space for parking.
Ese es un problema muy grande que nosotros
That's a
podríamos
very large
tener,
problem that we could have,
porque agrandaría el problema
because
que
this would
actualmente
make
ya
the problem
tenemos.
actually larger than the one we have already.
Porque tenemos hijos de las que
Because
vienen
we
del
had
colegio
children
y
that
que
coming
vienen
from
algunas
college,
veces bien tarde por la
And
noche.
sometimes they're coming very late from school at
Y
nighttime.
nosotros como padres tenemos
And
que
ourselves
apartar
as
un espacio
parents,
para
we
que
have to
nuestros
save a
hijos
space
tengan
for our
donde
children
estacionarse.
so they can have a place to park.
También tenemos
We also have
un poco más de estacionamiento
a little bit more parking.
y la persona que nos fue a
And the
decir
person
que
that came to
que
tell
querían
us
poner las Ts
that
en
they
el
wanted
piso,
to paint those T's on the floor,
nos quieren prácticamente quitar
they want
dos
us,
estacionamientos de
they
la
want to
Perilla,
remove actually 2 parking spaces
de la calle Perilla
from the Perilla Street
y alguno o uno o dos más
and
en
maybe
la
1 or
Passage.
2 from the Passage Street.
Eso nos quitaría a nosotros
That's
espacio
going
para
to take away
estacionarnos
from us the spaces for us to park,
y le daría el derecho a la
and
ciudad
it's
de
going to give the
darle
right to the city
un ticket a las
to give
personas
perhaps
que
a
estén
ticket
apartando un
citation for the
espacio
people they are actually saving a space
para las personas que llegan bastante tarde
for
por la
people that
noche.
come late at night.
Entonces, nosotros
Therefore,
pensamos,
we think
pienso,
as renters
que pudiéramos encontrar
that
alguna
perhaps we
manera
can
para
find a
poder
different
resolver
way
ese
so we
problema.
can solve this problem.
Muchas gracias por el baile.
Thank
de
you
los,
for the dance,
militares,
for the military
para los
dance,
veteranos.
for the vets.
Estuvo muy bonito.
It was very nice.
La comida estuvo muy sabrosa.
Comida?
La comida.
Oh, the food was very good. Excellent.
Y la banda tocó precioso.
And also the band was
Sí.
precious.
También otro concern.
Oh, oh, preocupación.
Otra preocupación.
Another concern.
Sorry, my Spanglish.
Yeah, you want to do it in Spanglish. Okay.
Yeah. No, Spanish and English.
Okay.
Tengo una hija que pidió
I
permiso
have
de
a
la
daughter that
ciudad,
requested a permit from the city,
perdón, por el distrito escolar,
from the school district,
para
I'm sorry,
cambiar a otro distrito escolar,
to move to another school district
porque ella quiere agarrar unas clases que
because she
el
wants
distrito
to
escolar
take
no tiene,
classes that this school district doesn't give.
para
They don't have
prepararse para
it.
ir al colegio y
To
a la
prepare
universidad.
herself to go to college and
Ella
perhaps
está en-
university.
Ella está en high school.
She's in high school now.
Tengo un hijo que está en el
I have a
colegio.
son that he's in college.
Él se graduó de Paramount High.
He graduated from Paramount Heights,
Él está ahora yendo a Cerritos College.
and now he's going to Cerritos College.
Él acaba de recibir un
He
pase
just received a permit pass
del autobús para
from
que él
from the
pueda
bus, oh, from the
transportarse
bus, so he
desde
can be
nuestra
able
casa
to
al colegio.
transport himself from school to home and school to the college, right?
Y quisiera ver si es posible o si hay alguna
I want to
manera
see
de
if
que
it's
también se le
possible, or maybe
pudiera
there is a
asignar ese
way
pase
if
a
we
mi
can
hija,
assign the same permit or pass to my daughter,
que ella va a un distrito escolar
because she goes
diferente.
to a different school district now.
Tomando en cuenta que nosotros
Taking
somos
in
residentes de
consideration that
Paramount,
we are residents from Paramount,
pagamos taxes
we pay taxes
aquí en Paramount,
here in Paramount,
somos locales,
we're local people,
hacemos compras aquí,
we purchase things here,
vivimos aquí todos,
we live here, all of us,
contribuimos a la
and we
ciudad
contribute to the city.
y quisiera que
So I
pudiera
would like
tomar
to
eso en
see, maybe you
consideración.
take that into consideration.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Gracias por el texto.
Thank you.
Thanks for the extra time as well.
Certainly.
Yes, if I may turn it over to Adriana to address a few of the parking issues that she's
Yeah.
been working on in that area and that I've reported to the city council about.
Thank you, John. We did host 2 committee meetings in the area that Mrs. Serta is talking about. We had an evening meeting as well as a weekend morning meeting. One of the main concerns that we have in that area is that there are people saving spots. And one of our concerns was to make sure that everybody in that area has the opportunity for a parking space, the same opportunity to have a parking space. So what happens is that people park their vehicles so that they create like maybe 4 to 5 feet of space between the cars that they own. And then when a relative comes, they move them closer so that relative can move in to that parking spot. The complaint is that, why are they allowed to do this? Is this illegal? People don't have the same right to the parking spaces that are on the public street. So after looking at different places in the city, like we did the same thing on the 8400 block of Adams, is to create equitable parking opportunity for everyone. So the parking Ts would allow for 20 feet of each person to park their vehicle. So that's, in essence, we wouldn't be adding any parking spaces, but we would just be creating equitable opportunity for everybody to park. And that's where you get neighbor to neighbor fights because they're saying, you're saving spaces, and we are encouraging people, because every unit in that area has a garage. I drive through there at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The majority of the garages are not being used for parking.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question of Adriana? What about the comment about a lot of red?
Yeah, I was curious
curb-
about that also.
Okay, red curb painting in the area. Have you guys looked at all that, and is there a reason it's prominent there, or is it not prominent there according to?
I would have to hand that over to the other Adriana, because that would be through the Public Works Department.
Thank you. Councilmember Lemons, the red, I'm not quite sure if she's talking about the red that's on Alondra, because I don't believe there's any red on Perilla or Passage. On
Passage.
Alondra.
Correct, it's Alondra.
Okay. So the red curb on Alondra, I did have a traffic engineer look at it about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago. And it is required for line of sight on Alondra because of those big transports, I guess trucks that come and deliver for Stater Brothers. It's required for line of sight. So he did take a look at it and to see, what we wanted to see if we could minimize that red. But as it stands today, we cannot.
May I ask one more
Okay.
question of her, Mr. Mayor? Which is, can you explain to me, either one of you, what are you talking about with put the Ts in? Are like a T-lined parking space and?
It would be the equivalent of a parking stall. So instead of being diagonal, it would be just the markings on the outer part where you have to park your vehicle within those lines. So it's just that we would eliminate the saving of parking spaces from the residents, and your vehicle would have to be parked within those lines or those markings. So they're called
I see.
parking
So if
Ts.
somebody's like parking, midway, they
Correct.
have to park within those two boundaries that are set there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this has been, this area is very challenged parking-wise. We've run into problems here before in the past, and we've tried to address it through other means. We've even approached Department of Water and Power to see about parking, building some sort of, this was years ago when Chris Cash was still here too, about possibly locating a parking lot under the wires, because that DWP corridor is right adjacent to this neighborhood. DWP does not allow overnight parking on their property. So there went that idea, but we're consistently doing this. Now, what Adriana had talked about was a meeting that she held out there with the residents to introduce them to this idea and explain to them what it's about, that we're trying to help them out. We're trying to come up with ideas that would help alleviate that, the parking crunch there. So she was going to host another meeting as well and then take it to the Public Safety Commission to flesh it out there as well before we just go through and paint everything. We weren't going to do that, so. just to let
Okay,
you know.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Our next speaker also needs a Spanish translator, Mr. Julio Delgado, and I believe he wants to discuss the same thing, parking problems. He's from Perilla Avenue. Mr. Delgado.
Buenas noches a todos, Mayor.
Good evening.
Mayor.
¿Cómo se llama?
Julio Delgado.
My name is Julio Delgado.
Y esta es mi primera vez que vengo a una.
This is my first time that I come into a meeting like this,
Espero mis nervios no me traicionen.
and I'm really nervous. My nerves don't betray me.
Entonces espero que también tengo 6 minutos igual.
And I hope I also get 6 minutes, right?
Entonces,
So,
entre más
well,
pronto mejor.
The sooner the better.
Nuestro verdadero problema
A real
pues,
problem
Perilla,
on Perilla
pues, es el
Street
parqueadero.
is parking.
Escuché lo que estaba diciendo
I heard
la señora Adriana.
what Ms. Adriana said,
Realmente nosotros
and really,
hemos hablado toda la comunidad ahí
we
de
spoke to the
Zaguayo,
whole
y-
community and the whole block on Perilla,
y nosotros realmente sabemos el
and we
problema que
really
hay.
know the problem that exists there.
Entonces nosotros hemos estaríamos todos de acuerdo que
We all agree now
lo que tienen planeado hacer
that what you're
temporalmente
planning to do is temporarily with the T's.
no va a solucionar nada.
It's not really going to solve anything.
Ni nos va probablemente sí ejerce un poquito de
Probably
la gente
ain't
como
going to
parte de la
enforce that maybe for people not to save
no
spaces,
está resolucionando
but
nuestro
it's not really solving the real problem.
necesitamos más
We
parqueaderos,
need more parking spaces.
necesitamos un ingeniero
We
que
need an
vaya,
engineer to come by
mide lo ancho de la
and to
calle,
measure the width of the street, the length of the
figure
street,
si puede hacer
and figure
dos
to
parques
see maybe he
que haya
can
más
make more
parques
spaces so
para
we can
todos.
have more spaces for everybody.
Igual con la Alondra,
The
que
same on Alondra. Maybe remove the red zones.
usted, la señora
I
Adriana, que
heard
estaba hablando del-
Miss Adriana that she was talking about the trailer for
Estero Brothers, que
for
se
Stated
descarga.
Brothers, that's where they unload.
Estero Brothers tiene
The Stated Brothers,
suficiente espacio
They have enough
demasiado
space a lot, too much. Maybe you can have 2 or 3 trailers to be parking there. They don't need to be outside, perhaps. A couple of minutes, yes. You know, when just the time it takes to park him inside, but they don't need all that space. It's too much. It's a lot of the red zone that is being wasted space. There is a man, they own 7 property, maybe 8. And there's some apartments, they have 3 bedrooms, and they have 2 or 3 sons or daughters, maybe they own 3 cars, and the owner only provides 1 garage for 1 car, and all the kids that live on those 3-bedroom apartments, they have cars outside as well. So, like you can see, we had too many cars, too many people, everything. So our real problem is parking. So if Safety Works, maybe they hire an engineer, and you say, you know, we have these problems, please find the problem, take measurements, and maybe build some parking spaces, this or that. You need to find the solution. To me, I feel maybe the T's, marking T's, is just to send over to mark those T's. Really, you're just wasting money. Maybe the community, we pay here in taxes for that. We also have another problem. There's no crossing, you know, I guess pedestrian crossings to go to the market on Alondra. We have to walk maybe 3 blocks all the way down to Downey so we can able and walk around. There's been some people right now that are being exposed maybe to be hit by a car. And I think you have some kind of record where people have been already hit by cars. And there's nothing, there's no saving for us to pedestrian crosses. There's a lot of danger there. So I really hope we can do something for the well-being of the community, people. There's always 2 lines, double parking. People are always fighting because they want to park. Too many people, they're very problematic people. They want to make and implement their own law, and they can't do that. So I'm a person that I spoke a lot. I call the police a lot because people are double parking there. And they don't do anything. They say, oh, we have more important things to do than that. So, and I believe that, yes, there's things that are more important than that. But many times I pass by and I see them at Starbucks drinking coffee. So we really need somebody to implement the law because really we have a problem. Good evening and thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Our next speaker is Mr. Gerald Serta. Mr. Serta?
Good evening, Mayor, Council folks, and fellow residents. Let's see if the 3rd time's a charm. I want to say thank you for I wrote it down here. The military ball that we had this Saturday, it was really nice. The band was nice. We got to see some council folks out there. We got to see the Congresswoman Roy Ball, representatives from Assemblymember Rendon, and also representative from Senator Gonzalez. It was really nice. Thank you for that. Also, I want to appreciate all the folks from Public Safety who organized the 2 meetings that we had a couple of weeks ago at different times, one at Passage and one at Parilla. To discuss the T markings. And like our neighbors and my wife mentioned, the T markings are pretty much just gonna guide you where to park. It's gonna, they mentioned it's gonna be like 20 feet, but if you have like a small car, like a smart car or a Zion, you're gonna have like 5 feet on each side. It's dead space. The T markings is gonna not solve the problem. The way it is right now, you can have Tetris. You can park a car here, park there, and you fit more cars. The T markings is not gonna give you more parking space. I think it's going to create a little bit of issues with the neighbors. You know, if you're over the line, they're going to call, Public Works is going to come, you're going to get a ticket. So it's going to create a little bit of friction in our neighborhoods. So the parking is an issue, and I believe Mayor Hansen, you mentioned it before that we have a parking problem in Paramount.
We have a parking problem throughout the whole area, I think. Yes.
And these 2 streets.
Because I do too.
Are not exempt. But I do want to bring that up. We did talk about the DWP Eastman. I heard the city manager mentioned with Mr. Cash when he was here. I brought this up to him. You know, he shrugged his shoulders and said it's a DWP. You know, like that's pretty much it. So I put some effort. I called DWP, went all the way to the office up there and asked if we can use that. And I know I mentioned the city as well. And it seems like there has to be a liaison with the city or somebody that can finesse that relationship with DWP to try to get parking in that area. And I know they mentioned there's no overnight parking, but we do have parking at Jefferson School, which is close to that easement. We have a nursery that has water, and we have electrical also at the Jefferson. There's other easements around the city that have overnight parking with some of the companies. So it seems like there just has to be a better relationship with DWP and the city to try to work something out. It's also a nuisance, a public and private nuisance, when the weeds get 6 feet and then they get cut, they get dried out, then it becomes a fire issue during the 4th of July, every 4th of July, because they only provide maintenance once a year. They only cut the weeds once a year. I think if we even that out, put some asphalt, put some parking, it would be a better area, beautification, maybe not as close like Soledad, but something a little bit nice, just with asphalt and no dry weeds in that area. We also brought the Stater Brothers issue. If there's a relationship that can be worked out with Stater Brothers to allow parking right now, it used to happen before, but now they started impounding cars. We also have the shopping center there and the vacant lot. I don't know if the city maybe can work something like a lease or purchase it and then create a parking lot for those 2 blocks, not only for Passage and Parilla, but also for Hayter. Like they mentioned, a pedestrian crosswalk would be a nice idea. Kids cross Alondra. There's 4 lanes to go to school, coming back. People cross to go grocery shopping, and then they cross back. So it is a nightmare area right there. It's just an incident waiting to happen. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Can we, that's been a little while ago that we looked into that with the
DWP.
Yes.
I'm looking at,
Look
so
into that
do you recall
again,
when the last time
possibly?
is you spoke with the DWP? Has it been a little over a year? Okay, it's been over a year. We could revisit it again once more with our contact at DWP.
Yeah, maybe that'd be
that
a
we
good
have
idea.
had. Yeah, absolutely.
If something
So-
can be worked out.
Sure. We can try it once again and see what it is. But what Mr. Serta was referring to, other easements, Edison is the only other easement that goes through town. They don't allow parking underneath there now. At one time, they may have, but they do not allow it now. And we have experience with that with Salud Park. There's parking during the day, but we can't allow it at night, overnight. That's why we have to enforce that parking there. Now, whether or not people park there without us knowing, that could happen for sure. But we signed an agreement with Edison saying that we will not allow overnight parking there. So as far as Jefferson School, when we were all there, and you can see it's not under the drip line where the garden was, and that's DWP property. Yes, it is in fact, but the school doesn't have overnight parking there as well. Daytime parking is okay, but the problem here at this neighborhood is overnight parking. So,
Okay.
okay.
So maybe something can come up out of it. Okay. go
Yeah,
ahead.
we'll try once more. So, all right, our next speaker is Ms. Lucia Zabayas Martinez from San Juan Street, and it looks like she has public safety concerns.
Good evening. My name is Lucia Martinez, and my concern is my safety. I have been, heard for several times, and nothing has been done about that. I've been to the police station, and it hasn't been done a thing to stop all this gang-related hate crimes, and that's what I'm here for, to see if I can have someone at least pay attention on all the violence there that we have around our area. In that area, I'm right close to Cerritos school, and sometimes I try to look out to what's going on with the kids, so the older kids won't harm the little ones. But I guess that's what's causing the problem. I'm not sure, but they go and knock on my door at all hours of the day and night, And I'm really scared because I was on May 17, I was almost kidnapped. I don't know what was that about, but it's really scary to be living in an area like this.
Any more?
Well,
Yep.
that's
Okay.
what.
Maybe Adriana?
Mayor, Ms. Martinez and I have met. I've been in public safety for 14 years now, and she and I have met with he's now a Detective Howard. At the time, he was a beat deputy. We've actually gone to her house. We've met with her several times. In regards to the school, I know the principal, Hilda Mapp. Ms. Martinez, do you remember meeting with me on different occasions? And we actually went to your house and we spoke to your daughter. And I think everything else would be confidential if I disclose that, but she and I have been in contact on many occasions, and the things that she has reported to us, we've looked into, and it's been unfounded by Deputy Howard.
Okay, so it's been worked on then.
Absolutely,
Okay,
throughout the
fine.
years, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And you can continue to do so,
Yeah.
of course.
Absolutely.
Our next speaker is Mr. Richard Griffin, and he has general comments. Mr. Griffin?
I apologize first before I get started if I get nervous and start panicking. I hate reading out loud. I'm a proud product of Paramount Unified School District. Richard Griffin, 8519 Chester Street. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members, City Manager, and staff members. I come before you not because you did anything wrong. I just wanted to reminisce with you on what I recently saw. I was volunteering for the CERT program from August 23rd to 25th at Spain Park. When driving up Rosecrans Boulevard, I noticed a building with a sign on it, for lease. It was the McLean Lawnmower Company. So what happened to McLean? I'm not the only one alone. As a child growing up here in Paramount, as well as those that have lived here for any length of time, McLean King of Lawns was a fixture of Paramount starting in 1946, but just 2 years before Paramount was created in 1948, when the city of Hines and the city of Clearwater merged as one city. McLean is one of several businesses that started or was already established when Paramount first started. Printed on the side of McLean mower, it is written, "Made in Paramount." So as the mowers, with its design and innovations, along with all the other early companies, as their notoriety and their accomplishment, domestic and international, grew to become products of quality, it carried over to the city of Paramount, which was becoming synonymous as a city of quality and innovation. So what also made Paramount successful was family. The families that moved here with pride to call Paramount home. Families not only just moved here, but financially sacrificed everything to make hopes and dreams come true, starting their own businesses here in Paramount, mom and pop. Family businesses like dentistry, cabinet building, markets, animal feed products, dairy, chiropractic, barber, hairstylist, restaurant, automotive, parts and service, retail, manufacturing, et cetera, along with the support of the local residents. They are the backbone that contribute to the growth of Paramount. I looked on the internet and I found McLean has moved to the city of Bell Gardens. I called McLean and talked to the lady receptionist and asked, why did the company leave Paramount? She said when the new owners bought McLean a while back, they only bought the manufacturing. They did not buy the property. The prices here of land was too expensive. This is true. It's no longer a $10 per acre cow town. Paramount is on the map. It's a thriving little city. I told the lady on the phone that as a child growing up here in Paramount, tell the new owners thank you for keeping it here as long as they did. The McLean legacy and what they did for the city will be missed. A reminder to the council, as Paramount grows each year with the latest and greatest franchises, businesses, you need to keep in your mind open hearts that because franchise, you need to keep your minds and hearts open, that they are here not because of product replacement, but they are here because the city they want to be in. And still, Paramount needs to try to keep small patches of property for the future generations, citizens, mom and pop. It's easier said than done. I know that the city has done their best to try to make sure that, that they keep that they're reminded that the family is what is the backbone of Paramount. I'd like to say thank you very much for listening to my ramblings. Paramount is our home. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Our next speaker, Mr. Mayor, is Mr. Alfredo Buenuelos. He likes to also talk about parking. Mr. Buenuelos?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for your time. Apparently, I came to the right meeting because of the first two people that were speaking on the same subject. I have a problem with parking. I live south of Rosecrans, west of Garfield, in that area near Salud Park. I've heard some of the concerns of the other community members. They live in I think in different areas, but it seems like the problem is a citywide problem, and I'm sure that we can do something to fix it. I spoke today, well, over maybe like the past year, I've been in communication with Public Works, which I think is in charge of that, taking care of that stuff. I've never spoken to Adriana. I left her a voicemail today. Call me later. But I have spoken to Sarah, your assistant, I believe. And Sarah today outright told me that she cannot do anything to help me. She's set me the task to talk to the community, to try to get them to call, to try to get them to come, to try to get them to do things that requires them taking their time from jobs, time from their family, from their sleep. Most importantly, to get to there's a lot of ideas that we can come together to solve this problem, but most importantly, I'd like to address the issue of unreasonable street sweeping times. Around Texaco and that Salud Park area right there, we're required to wake up at 4 in the morning to move a car to one side. That's if we even find parking, which we don't. There is no way. You have to go to Garfield, you have to go to Somerset, you have to go everywhere. Point is, that is a very unreasonable time, especially in a working class neighborhood. The community doesn't have time to be interrupting their sleep twice a day, twice a week, twice a day, to move them from one side to the other and then be able to work 2 jobs or whatever situation it is they have. I'm sure that's something that we can fix. The real problem, this issue, really is affordable housing, because more people are forced to have to live in the same household. So we see every year it gets worse and worse, but that's a whole nother subject. I'm sure that we can really come to a solution. I hope that you take our petition serious, and if not, I will continue to come. I do want to get this fixed. I'm sure we can. Thank you for your time. Also, if you could revisit that agreement with Edison so that we may begin to park on Salud Park, that would really help. Everything helps. So please revisit it citywide, not just in these areas we're mentioning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our last speaker?
I'm
sorry, go
just going to say,
Sorry,
is this-
Mr. Mayor.
We have one more?
Yes, we
Because if I recall, on our stuff, we're supposed to limit these public comments to 30 minutes total time.
Right, so if you see the blue clock that's on your lower right hand, we're at 3 minutes and 38 seconds, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was watching
I
that
have
clock.
one quick question, Mr. Mayor.
Uh-huh.
Is this something that the Parking Authority Committee could take up? We know we have a parking authority.
We do have one. I can look into that to see
I
if
mean,
that
it
is
would be,
something.
just
Sure.
to, if they could maybe take it on, and so that it focuses on nothing but parking,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe see what's available out there in the world, something that we don't know about or see, and then maybe
Certainly.
even, hear ideas from the community, about something that we haven't thought of, because this problem, it is throughout the whole city,
everywhere.
as is mentioned. I, on a regular basis, park, 4 or 5 blocks from my home. It's the way it is because we have too many cars for our single driveway. And it's not going to get any better. And so maybe that's something, it's never really been utilized, that we can take advantage of.
That's something I can look into as well. We did recently speak with the city of Southgate. They're having the same problem as well.
I know
Everybody
it's
is.
LA-wide.
And the city of Southgate commissioned a parking study So I asked for a copy of that. We did get a copy, and I shared it with Public Safety. They did a review of that. One of the ideas that came out of that was actually the T hash marks.
Yeah.
That was one of the ideas that came out of it. And there were a few more other things that we looked at, that we're looking into as possibly trying. I know that we talked about a driveway expansion area in your, a
Citywide,
program.
yeah, if you could
Citywide
do it,
thing.
yeah.
That's another idea, but that's something that we will definitely, we're hearing loud and clear. Parking's an issue everywhere. But as was said, it's a matter of the population growing and more people having cars.
Yeah, I totally
That's
understand the problem.
hardest,
I'm part of the
difficult,
problem
yeah.
with, 4 cars in a single driveway. But I just, would like to not leave any stone unturned. I know that we have this parking authority we've never really used. And even if it's to hold public hearings to hear from those communities about ideas that, they may think of that we haven't, anything's worth exploring.
Okay.
I agree.
John,
Okay.
question. Where are we with the, near the post office, that parking lot that closes up at night?
Yes.
What would be the chance of getting that to open? I know we just built those new homes in that area, which is probably going to contribute to his problem in that,
Sure.
right on
So.
Texaco. So maybe we could work something out with the post office in the lot that locks up at night. At least
Yeah.
they'd have nearby parking during the nighttime hours where they have to walk, to their house. You don't want them to for safety reasons in that area, to have to walk too far. So
Yeah.
I think we could look into maybe
Sure, that's
that.
stuff we could look at. Again, no stone unturned. I'm hearing that. The difficulty with that one is that it's under the Edison wires. And when we signed the agreement with the post office to build the parking lot, we promised we wouldn't have any overnight parking because Edison has that rule now, as I mentioned, everywhere. So, but once again, I'm going to not leave any stone unturned.
Have they ever told you the reason for that?
It has to do with fires prevention, because if there's cars parked there and they can't get to their towers overnight, which, it's hard to find people in the middle of the night to move their cars, whereas during the day, if there's people visiting the post office or at work, they can find them to move their cars if there is a fire. It's basically access to their towers, to their
That
lines.
seems solvable though too, like with a fire lane or
It
something.
does. You would think, but they're regulations, and sometimes they are regulated by the PUC. This might be a PUC regulation that doesn't allow that. So that's something that we could look further into, so.
Okay.
Look into and get some answers on anyway, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
sure.
let's do the
Okay.
last one then.
Our last speaker, Mr. Mayor, is Mr. Jose De Leon, and he wants to discuss air.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council, public. Wow, parking. I'm glad to hear that a lot of people brought different things about parking. It's a problem in general. Every year we are 80 million more in this planet. And of course, cities are growing and everything. I like the fact that more people is talking about different issues in different areas, because most of the times people is afraid to come and talk to her. We all get nervous. I'm here just with the air situation. According to you, the problem is being solved, but no. Just last week on Wednesday, a bunch of monitors, they were showing higher readings. For example, monitor number 8, which is located by Aerocraft, I think, it was showing 1.7. Monitor number 11, 1.10. Monitor number 15, 1.7. Number 23, monitor number 23, on October 3rd, it shows 1.02. On October 18, 1.06. On October 24, 3.25. On October 30, 1.13. We still have the problem. What are we going to do? I remember last year, there was an AQMD representative here, and he mentioned about getting better technology. I just want to know what happened, and I want to know, and the public needs to understand that we still have that problem. And I know in the next election, people is gonna run, you know, environmentally, or they're gonna focus their campaign, as you did, Ms. Lemon, in the environmental issue. But the question is, what are we gonna do, or what can we do? You as a government, state, well, we are a state too. I'm part of the state. What can we do to find a solution of this problem? I know the readings are low, but it's because we were pushing and pushing. But can we do better? Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Did the AQMD notify it?
Yeah, so, no, the four of the 7 readings that Mr. De Leon mentioned were at number 23. Those were reported to AQMD when we did see them earlier in the month, specifically October 3rd and October 18th. And we asked AQMD if there's any concern on their end for those recent spikes. And they indicated to us no, that they visited the site, which is in front of number 23. Is that the one in front of Matco, I believe? That's the one that's, yeah. That one is, they have visited Matco and the surrounding businesses and did not see anything that is different than what they've been doing all along. They told us that they will continue to monitor it. The first one that he mentioned last Wednesday, we'll have to look into that and see if there's, and again, bring it to AQMD's attention. That was monitor number 8 at 1.7, and then the other 2 as well.
Okay, so they're, okay, fine, thank you.
So, John,
No, are they
just
all at
to
23?
ask you a question on that.
Lori's asking a question.
So where are we as far as those letters and the companies in compliance? And I'm asking because if we don't send a strong message as the city to say, hey, we, even though you're not under an abatement order anymore, that we're still holding you accountable for these readings, where are we with that? Those letters that went out.
I was going to bring that up during comments from staff at the end, but I'll bring it up now for sure. All 18 have turned in their applications for administrative action. So all of them are done. So now we go through the process of reviewing those, doing a site visit and certifying them.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I have one question. Mr. De Leon mentioned new technology from the AQMD. Is that something that?
Yeah, I believe that's something that about a year and a half ago, Mr. Jason Lowe brought to the attention that AQMD was looking into new technology, new meters that they will be rolling out.
Meters or?
Yeah, new samplers, if I'm not mistaken.
They were going to be mobile samplers that could go through the city and detect.
Yeah, right. So I'm not sure where they are, but that's something that I could check in to see where they are with that, so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're done with public comments?
Yes, sir.
Okay, consent calendar.
Move it.
Second.
Been moved by Lemon, seconded by Hoffmeyer for the entire consent calendar. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Guillen?
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer?
Yes.
Mayor Hansen?
Yes. Item number 9, public hearing ordinance, amending ordinance number 178, the comprehensive zoning ordinance, changing the official zoning map of the city of Paramount from M1 light manufacturing to R2 medium density residential for properties located at 15-3.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, we're on item number 9, old business.
That's
Yeah.
what, oh,
The SWAT meet.
I jumped ahead, didn't I?
Yes, you did, no
Sorry.
problem.
I did that
I'm
the
like,
last time
I'm
too,
lost.
didn't
Where's
I?
he reading from?
Why am I doing that? Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay, number 9, yes. Consecutive 6-month review of city council permit for live entertainment at Paramount Swap Meet, 7900 All-American Way. Staff report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Back in 2016, the City Council approved a live entertainment permit for the Swap Meet. The Swap Meet added a large stage to the middle of their outdoor facility, and we're seeking to have daytime live entertainment while during the Swap Meet hours. Though the permit was approved 3 years ago, live entertainment didn't actually start until last year. So it's been about a year since they've had it, and Adriana Lopez, our Public Safety Director, will tell us a little bit more about the permit and how things are going. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Once again, good evening, Mayor, council members. As John mentioned, this is a consecutive 6-month review of the live entertainment permit for the swap meet. And I'll start by letting you know where it's located. It's at 7900 All-American City Way. It's operated by Modern Development Company, also known as Paramount Swap Meet, and they are the applicants for the live entertainment permit. The swap meet is licensed by ABC for a Type 40, which allows for the sale of beer with availability of snacks. September 20th, 2016, the City Council did adopt Resolution Number 16023, which approved the live entertainment permit, but they did not begin the events until 2 years later. So a 6-month review was conducted on April 16th, 2019, and tonight's presentation is the second 6-month review of any documented activities from April 11th through October 15th, 2019. This is the format. The live entertainment permit is approved for Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., so it is early in the day. And it's covered, the live entertainment is covered with the general admission to the swap meet, so there's no additional fee attached to the live entertainment events. During this time frame, we have 34 documented calls. As you could see here, they're not related to the live entertainment permit. This 10 calls that you see for disturbances, those are usually between the sales, the vendor, and the customer. As I mentioned, none of the 34 calls were related to the live entertainment permit. And during this time frame, we do not have any law enforcement concerns that have been reported. And they do have security cameras and professional security guards as part of their security plan for the swap meet and the live entertainment permit. It is recommended that the City Council receive and file the report with the stipulation that staff conduct an annual review. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. And representatives from the swap meet were invited to tonight's meeting.
Questions?
Make a motion, we receive and file.
Been moved by Hoffmeyer, seconded by Almos, to receive and file the report with an annual review, correct?
6 months, yes.
Well, we're going to go 6 months or annual?
Annual.
Annual.
Have they been,
It's
has
actually-
it gone twice at 6 months?
It has, yes. So it's up to it's the council's discretion. Our recommendation is a year, but it's up to the council if they want to come back in 6
I'll
months.
make it 1 year in my motion.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded, as we said before, for an annual review. We have a staff report, or roll call. God, I can't do anything right tonight.
Councilmember Guillen?
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer?
Yes.
Mayor Hansen?
Yes. Item number 10, consecutive 6-month review for city council permit for live entertainment at the De Lucia Bar, 14123 Garfield Avenue. Staff report.
Yes, sir, Mayor Council. This is also another live entertainment permit review, and this one is at the De Lucia Bar. This one occurs indoors, of course, and is at night. You may recall the City Council examined this permit application very closely based on the past history with this location and the owner-operator. However, the City Council at the time approved it as sort of a last chance for the owner-operator. And as we reported to you at the 3-month and 6-month reviews, things got off to a bit of a rocky start with the owner-operator. However, things seem to have improved. And here's Adriana Lopez, our Public Safety Director, once again to tell us more details about this particular live entertainment permit. Adriana?
Thank you, John. This too is a consecutive 6-month review for the live entertainment permit at De Lucia's Bar. Lucia's Bar is located at 14123 Garfield Avenue in an M2 zone. It is owned by Jose Hernandez and operated by Joseph Hernandez. The establishment is licensed by ABC for a Type 42, which states that it's the sales of beer and wine for on-site consumption, and the building cannot have access, or minors cannot have access to the building. At its October 2nd, 2018 meeting, the City Council did adopt Resolution 18027, which approved live entertainment at De Lucia's. Live entertainment began 2 days later, and a 3-month review was presented to the City Council on January 22nd, and then an additional 3-month review was presented on April 7th. And at that time, the stipulation was to conduct an additional 6-month review of the live entertainment permit. So as mentioned, this is the 6-month review that we were instructed to conduct. The live entertainment for the Lucia's Bar is from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Fridays, and then from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Saturdays. They also have an approved event for mariachis from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays, but that has not been on the calendar. As mentioned, some of the conditions that we felt that the applicant was violating was condition number 4, which was to submit monthly calendars on a regular basis and timely basis. And then condition number 33, which states that change or alteration to the live entertainment permit has to be approved before any change is done. We are happy to report that there is a significant improvement in these areas, and the monthly calendars are being submitted on a timely manner, and the schedules that are outside of the approved time have been submitted prior to the event and have been approved. From April 22nd through October 15th, 2019, only one law enforcement response occurred at the location. And this is something that the deputies responded to. It was just a disturbance, and when they responded, the establishment was in, everything was in accordance to the live entertainment conditions, so there were no violations found. And during this time frame, 23 patrol checks were conducted by sheriff's personnel like they normally do of all bar checks. So our analysis at this point is that we do on occasions have to remind the applicant to maintain 2 licensed security guards on site during live entertainment. And we have noticed that valet parking has been available during the live entertainment hours, and we have not received any complaints or issues regarding any public safety concerns or noise violations. And our recommended action at this time is that the City Council receive and file the report and direct staff to either conduct a 6-month review or an annual review at this time.
Make a motion for an annual review.
I'll second that.
Did anybody have any questions?
No,
Okay. Been moved by Gill and seconded by Almos to receive and file the report, and direct staff to conduct a annual review. Can I have a staff report, please?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos,
yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes. Item number 11, proposed revision for weekly farmers market agreement to assign a new market provider. Staff report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council, the weekly daytime farmers market at Progress Park has been going through some challenges, as we all know. Though we're not giving up, we have a familiar partner that we've been working with who seems to have some success at our nighttime market, and he wants to give it a shot. He wants to try the daytime market as well, and he thinks he can prosper there. But we need to modify the existing agreement that reflects this change, so here's our Community Services and Recreation Director, Dave Johnson, who will tell us about this partner and the change. Dave?
Thank you, John. Good evening, Mayor and council members. As John mentioned, the current operator at our farmers market, our weekly farmers market at Progress Park, was not able to make a financial go of it. They ceased operations on October 18th. And we actually were working kind of behind the scenes, knowing that that was a possibility, with our Friday night market operator. He also runs through the Hunger Action Los Angeles nonprofit, various farmers markets in the Southland. So we contacted him, and he was actually also contacted by the vendors themselves, who, there were 6 or 7 vendors that were actually happy with the market and they wanted to continue on. So with that, he knew he had a base of vendors that were willing to continue with the weekly market. He is willing to take this on. He does have experience rebuilding markets that were financially struggling. He is aware that this is, a challenged market, that he will probably not make a profit for a while, and he understands that. But based upon his experience in rebuilding markets, he thinks he can make this a go. So He's not looking to change anything under the current agreement because there's existing health and ag department permits that he has to operate under for a while before he can recommend any changes if he thinks any changes are recommended or needed. So what we're proposing tonight is that under the current agreement, that the City Council approve or modify the revised weekly farmers market agreement to assign the market to the Hunger Action Los Angeles group to conduct our weekly farmers market. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Lemon, seconded by Hoffmeyer to approve the revised weekly farmers market agreement to assign the market to Hunger Action Los Angeles. We have roll call, please.
Councilmember Gian?
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer?
Yes.
Mayor Hansen?
Yes. Now, item number 12.
Here we go.
Finally. Amending the ordinance number 178, comprehensive zoning ordinance, changing the official zoning map of the city of Paramount from M1 light manufacturing to M2 medium density residential for properties located at 16305 and 16313 Hunsaker Avenue in City of Paramount relative to zone change number 231. The staff report.
Yes, sir. As we all know, we have a sprinkling of properties throughout town where the current use taking place on that property doesn't actually match the actual zoning that's on the books. That is, these parcels aren't zoned properly, and these are remnants from the days of when LA County allowed residential uses to locate near industrial uses. But little by little, we've been on a mission to correct this and clean this up. So in our own ongoing efforts to do this, we're asking you tonight to change the zone of 2 parcels that are zoned industrial but are used actually for residential. These parcels are also located mostly in a residential area of town. One of these 2 parcels is actually the property that the council recently authorized us to purchase back in September. And here's our planning director, John Carver, to tell us more about this zone change. John?
Thank you. John, Mr. Mayor, and council members. This item is a request to change the zoning at 16305 and 16313 Hunsaker Avenue from light industrial to medium density residential. The Planning Commission recommended approval to the City Council at its October 8th, 2019 meeting. The zone change will implement the general plan land use designation of multiple family residential. Here is an aerial of the 2 properties on Hunsaker Avenue. They're outlined in yellow. And this picture shows the 2 properties. And here is a picture of 16313 Hunsaker Avenue. This property measures just a little bit more than 2,300 square feet, and it has an existing 738 square foot duplex. And this is a picture of 16305 Hunsaker. This property measures approximately 7,660 square feet and contains 2 buildings. 1 vacant industrial building, which is shown in the pink and white and measures just a little bit more than 1,600 square feet, and the gray building, which is a duplex and measures 814 square feet. Here's the, excuse me. Here's the existing zoning for this area. The subject properties are outlined in white in the middle, and the properties in blue are zoned light manufacturing, and this includes the subject parcels. The surrounding zoning includes medium density residential, multiple family residential, and commercial manufacturing. The proposed zoning is medium density residential, which is consistent with the surrounding area on Hunsaker Avenue. And here is a look at the existing land uses. Yellow is yellow is single family residential, and then we have multiple family residential and commercial. And the general plan is shown on this map, and the properties for the zone change are designated as multiple family residential. As John mentioned, on September 3rd, the City Council authorized the purchase of 16305 Hunsaker Avenue for an affordable housing development. At the end of October, the property was purchased by the city with low to moderate income housing funds from the former redevelopment agency. We are working with Habitat for Humanity and we'll be demolishing these structures at the site to allow for the development of an affordable housing project. And this picture shows the before and after of an affordable home on Hunsaker, just across the street, that we were involved with several years ago. And this picture is another before and after of a second affordable project across the street on Hunsaker that the city was involved with. And you might remember this is the house that received the solar panels through the GRID program also. And if this application is approved, the zone change will be consistent with the general plan land use designation, and the affordable housing will not be out of character with the surrounding area. And it's recommended that the council introduce ordinance number 1117, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, this is a public hearing. First, do we have any questions? For open public hearing? None? Okay, this is a public hearing. We'll hear those first in favor, then those opposed. And we did have a speaker on this
Yes, I'm
item.
not sure. Mr. Jimenez, are you in favor or opposed?
Okay, in favors first. Yes. Please come forward.
Good evening, everybody. Dear City Council and staff members, my name is Erze Jimenez, and I'm here to express my support for Ordinance 111 in respect to the properties on Hunsaker Avenue. This also touches on one of the residents that previously mentioned when it comes to the parking and also the affordability crisis here in California. There are two important reasons why this property zone change will help our community. This project has the intent to build a home to address the city and state's housing affordability crisis. Homelessness is not just a California issue, but it's also a Paramount issue. Many landlords are raising rents right before State Assembly Bill 1482 goes into effect on January the 1st. I urge staff members to help those renters who just received the rent increase notice this past Friday. This project is just one step towards a much longer road ahead. We need more projects just like these to keep Paramount residents from going homeless. Now, the second reason I am here today is because I am one of those renters that just received the rent increase notice. This increase is not just your typical 3 to 5% increase. We're talking a whopping 50% increase from the original rent. We work full-time, and my wife already has 2 jobs. My 8-year-old son is asking me if we're going to be homeless. I must tell him that we are going to stay home, but I don't tell him for how long. So I humbly ask that I request that city staff inform my family how and where we can apply for this property project. This project may help my children stay in the city they were born in. Please help us stay in Paramount, because for those of us renters, homelessness is just now at our doorstep. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any further in favor? Anyone else? Those opposed?
Make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved by Hoffmeyer, second by Lemons, close the public hearing. We have roll call, please.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes.
Move the item.
Second.
Moved by Lemons, second by Hoffmeyer to read by title only, waive further reading, introduce ordinance number 1117 and place it on the next regular agenda for adoption. We have roll call, please.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes. Item number 13, commercial rehabilitation project for 13913 Paramount Boulevard. Have staff report, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council. Our commercial rehabilitation program has been around for decades and has been one of the catalysts for eliminating blight throughout our town. Though the program has slowed down considerably after the state eliminated redevelopment, we've been able to keep it going on a much smaller scale, though, by finding another funding source. Our latest proposed project, though, is on Paramount Boulevard, just south of the 105 freeway. You'll recognize it as you can see it here on the slide in the background there. It's the old TV repair shop there. This has been one of those very difficult projects over the years that we've always wanted to do, but for a number of reasons just could not get it done. But anyway, with that, here's John Carver, our planning director, who has promised to get it done, and he'll tell us about the program and about this project. John?
Thank you, John. Mr. Mayor and members of the council. This item is a request to award a contract for commercial rehabilitation construction at 13913 Paramount Boulevard. The City Council approved the budget for this project in the fiscal year 2020 budget, and the Development Review Board has reviewed and approved the design of the rehab, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a couple of slides. Here's an aerial of the site. The property is outlined in red on Paramount Boulevard, and it's just located near the northern city boundary with the city of Southgate. And here's a look at the property. The site has had numerous code enforcement issues over many years, and we have been trying for many years to do a commercial rehabilitation project at the property. As part of this project, the pole sign on the right will be removed, as will the roof-mounted sign on the building. Here's a look at the remodel proposal. It will include decorative metal features, cultured stone, new stucco, new fencing, and a 10-foot landscaped front setback. Here's a look at the site plan. And it will be Building A, which will receive the rehabilitation. And funding for the project will come from federal community development block grants. 2 contractors submitted bids, and the low bid came in at $141,709. The city will contribute 80% of that cost, or $113,367, and the property owner will contribute 20% of the cost, or $28,343. And it's recommended that the City Council award the contract for commercial rehabilitation program construction services to Corral Construction, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Questions?
You done any business with Corral Construction before, John?
I believe this is the first time that we've used Corral.
What was the other bid?
The other bid, the amount of the other bid,
Yeah.
it was $205,000.
Is this a city public project?
Yes, it is.
So was it put out to any union bids?
The way the bidding works is the property owner solicits the bids.
So was that a yes or a no?
So these do not have prevailing wage.
I'll move the item.
Oh, I'm sorry. I take that back. They do have prevailing wage requirements.
I'll second it. Excuse me. I'll second.
Okay, moved by Lemon, seconded by Hoffmeyer to award contract for commercial rehabilitation program construction services at 13913 Paramount Boulevard to Corral Construction. We have roll call, please.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes. Item 14, rejection and re-advertisement of bids for construction of well number 16, city project number 9116. We have a staff report, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We recently went out to bid for what will be one of the most important capital improvement projects this city has done. It's for the construction of our 4th water well. This project is significant because once complete, it'll give us a reliable and inexpensive source of drinking water for the community. It will also take us off the need to purchase water from very expensive and unreliable outside sources. Because of the significance of this project, we want to make sure we get things right. Our first bid process didn't go as expected, so we have to redo. And here's Adriana Figueroa, our Public Works Director, to go over the process. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, as John indicated, project number 9116 is the construction of our water well number 16. Water wells are generally large projects that are often faced in with drilling as phase 1, which was the case for us, and this, of course, included the required water quality testing. Phase 2 is the equipping of the well, which also includes distribution mains and the necessary treatment. Bids for this project were received at the end of August, and we received 7 bids, with the apparent low bid submitted by MMC Inc. in the amount of $6,635,067. The low bid amount is a little over $635,000 above the engineer's estimate. Although MMC's bid appeared to be the low bid, the city required clarification from MMC on a few areas of their bid proposal. At the same time, the city also received protest letters from the second apparent low bidder expressing objections. Out of an abundance of caution and as per the city's legal authority under the Public Contracts Code, staff is recommending we reject all bids and re-advertise for the project after making some changes to the plans and specs in order to clarify issues that surfaced during the bid review process. That basically concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, questions?
Move the item.
Second.
Moved by Hoffmeyer, second by Lemons, to reject all bids and re-advertise bids for the construction of well number 16. We have staff, or roll call.
Councilmember Gian,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes. Item number 15, resolution number 19.041, endorsing the Reducing Crime and Keeping California Safe Act of 2020. We have staff report, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and Council. We've all heard about the negative effects that Propositions 47 and 57 and AB 109 are having on the crime rates statewide. Thankfully, we haven't had as drastic of an experience as some other communities around us. Nonetheless, we've been approached by a statewide committee that's addressing this, and we've been asked to adopt a resolution supporting their efforts. So with that, I'll turn it over to our Public Safety Director, Ms. Adriana Lopez, who will handle the item. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Mayor, council members, good evening once again. This evening, we will be asking that you adopt Resolution 19041 to show your endorsement for the Reducing Crime and Keeping California Safe Act of 2020, which is scheduled to appear on the ballot on November 2020. This initiative is designed to address the dangerous flaws contained in Assembly Bill 109, also known as the Realignment Act, and Proposition 47, Proposition 57. And you may recall that earlier this year, Deputy District Attorney Kelly Tatman presented to Council a very detailed summary and discussion on how AB 109, Proposition 47 and 57 have affected the prosecution and sentencing of criminals. But just to give you a brief description of what they each stand for, AB 109 shifted the responsibility of lower level offenders from the state to the counties. And then Proposition 47 reclassified certain thefts and drug possession offenses from felonies to misdemeanors. And Proposition 57, which allowed, and I say non-violent offenders from the state prison to be eligible for parole earlier than ever before. So, like John mentioned, the California Public Safety Partnership Issues Committee, which involves or includes victims of crime, business owners, also law enforcement and public safety personnel, is supporting the Reduction Crime and Keeping California Safe Act of 2020. According to the committee, the recent changes to the parole laws have allowed for reduced penalties and even early release of criminals by the law's failures to define crimes as violent. And some of these crimes could include sex trafficking of children, rape of an unconscious person, felony assault with a deadly weapon, and also felony domestic violence, just to name a couple of few crimes. As a result, we know that certain offenders who are labeled non-violent are back on the street a lot sooner than before. And this puts everybody in the community in danger. So Reducing Crime and Keeping California Safe Act of 2020 will also address the serious and also serial theft problems that many cities in California are having, including Paramount. Many of our surrounding cities have already adopted an ordinance or in the process of adopting an ordinance endorsing this initiative. The mayor of Whittier asked us that we too adopt a resolution. So it is recommended that you adopt resolution 19041, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Move the item.
Second.
Moved by Hoffmeyer, seconded by Gillen, to read by title only and adopt resolution number 19.041. We have roll call, please.
Councilmember Gian,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos, Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes. Item number 16, resolution number 19.042, submitting to the qualified electors of the city at the March 3rd, 2020 general election called by resolution number 19.035, a measure pursuant to Government Code Section 9222 and directing the city attorney to prepare an impartial analysis. Staff report, please.
Yes, sir. Over the last few months, we've been discussing with the City Council the need to raise revenue in Paramount to allow us to pay our bills and keep things going in the right direction. One way to raise revenue is to ask the voters to adopt a sales tax increase that would ensure a stable source of funding. Before you tonight is a resolution that, if you approve, will place a sales tax increase measure on the ballot in March 2020 for the voters to decide on whether or not the sales tax in Paramount should be raised to the county maximum of 10.25%. As I mentioned earlier, the tax rate in Paramount is currently at 9.5%. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to remind everybody that sales tax does not get charged to such things as groceries, rent, utilities like electricity, gas, and water, baby food, car insurance, those types of things. So with that, I'll hand it over to our Finance Director, Ms. Karina Lamb, to walk us through the presentation. Karina?
Thank you, John. Mr. Mayor and members of the council, as John mentioned, the item before you is the potential sales tax measure. As you know, we have presented this to you a couple of times. Tonight is a brief report for you, also for the benefits of those who are hearing for the first time. Over the past few decades, Paramount has transformed into a safe, well-maintained city with clean parks and facilities, also providing great services that our residents have come to enjoy. It is also has become a vibrant business environment, and we are committed to do our best to continue to enhance the quality of life here in Paramount. All these have been proven in many aspects, including the huge decline in gang-related crimes, significant improvement over unemployment, and in partnering with the school districts, we also see higher high school graduation rates and overall college participation. Median home price. Excuse me. I'm going to start on the second portion of the slides, which is the positive trend. All these have been proven in many aspects, including the huge decline in gang-related crimes, significant improvement over unemployment, and in partnering with the school districts, we also see higher high school graduation rates and overall college participation. Median home price has also gone up almost double since 2012. Our residents see all this as well. A recent survey done by a reputable polling company, FM3, concluded 66% of our respondents believe that Paramount provides a better quality of life than other neighboring cities. It is evidence that residents feel positive about city's direction. However, we didn't go through this transformation without hurdles. In fact, we have been through many challenges along the way. Just over 10 years ago, we experienced the historic Great Recession. Soon after that, in 2012, the state abolished the redevelopment in California. Redevelopment was a key element for Paramount's success. It provided approximately $6 million revenues a year to Paramount for over 3 decades. Many of the infrastructure improvements were funded by redevelopment, including the downtown revitalization. Both the recession and loss of the redevelopment have created unprecedented and detrimental impacts to our community, which we are still dealing with it today. As you may recall, in the past 10 years' budgets, we have been extremely flexible and have come up with different ways of managing the situation in each budget cycle. Nonetheless, the reality is that expenditures continue to outpace revenues. We are not alone. Cities across California are facing the same challenges. Here is a list of ways we have used to fill the financial gap over the past decade. First and foremost, staffing was reduced by 25% from 122 employees in 2012 to 92 today. Then various benefits were reduced, such as suspension of 401 plan, reduced sick leave buyback and health insurance benefits. Also, furloughs were established, and most recently, pension reform. To continue providing vital city services while keeping the operational costs down, we have been innovative by partnering with other agencies or third parties. In recent years, YMCA began servicing all aquatics programs. In addition, Long Beach Transit is now providing a broader and more efficient transit in Paramount. On the revenue side, we knew we needed to enhance that as well. We took Measure P to the voters in 2015, which is a utility users tax amendment. It was passed by the majority of the voters. However, the increase in revenue cannot come close to what has been lost because of the loss in redevelopment. On the other hand, we continue our efforts in economic development as many new businesses have come in town. However, realistically, the purchasing trend shows that online purchases are by far increasing in such faster rate than sales at brick and mortar stores, and therefore businesses are hesitant to open stores or open stores with much smaller footprints. This may impact our overall sales tax if this trend continues. On the other hand, we have been aggressive in obtaining different grants for one-time or specific projects. Even with all these adjustments, we're very proud to say that by and large, there is no impact to the services we provide for the community. Yes, there is no doubt that we need additional revenue source to continue providing vital city services. Unlike special revenue sources, we need a revenue that is flexible and under local control. This will allow the City Council continue to set priorities as needed and as times change. And a potential sales tax measure will meet this goal. Talking about a funding source that is kept local to keep Paramount safe and strong, wanted to point out that many agencies are seeking sales tax increase, which could take up Paramount's share. Here is a news article stating AQMD is seeking a share of the sales tax in 4 counties, LA County included. LA County's sales tax maximum is at 10.25%. Currently, we're at 9.5%, which means there is room for a 0.75% increase in sales tax for the city or other agencies. AQMD is not alone in seeking sales tax dollars. The chart here shows you a few examples of past successful attempts by other agencies, including Measure R, Measure M, and Measure H. As a result, it added to the sales tax total and took up a portion of the county maximum allowed in LA County. If this trend continues and Paramount is not seeking the remaining 0.75%, it's very likely other agencies will take it in the future, and Paramount will lose the revenue source that can be under local control. Specifically for Measure H, it was passed in 2017 for homeless programs. We estimated $3.5 million have been collected in Paramount alone. So far, only $26,000 was given to Paramount and spent locally. Now, if a local sales tax measure is passed here, the current estimate is that Paramount may receive approximately $4.5 million a year, and of that, all of them will be used locally and will be used to benefit the community. There is a huge difference when the same is collected for an outside agency. So staff is recommending a local add-on sales tax measure. This is a general purpose tax. Again, it will allow the City Council to use it as needed. This is a 3/4 cent increase from 9.5% to 10.25%. It could generate approximately $4.5 million a year. The key is it will allow tax dollars to stay and be used in Paramount only. Here is a list of sales tax rates among different cities in the region. Paramount is one of the lowest at 9.5%. As you can see, many neighboring cities are already at county maximum at 10.25. In fact, Santa Fe Springs is even at 10.5%. Those who are at 9.5%, including Cerritos, Lakewood, Norwalk, and Bellflower, they are all considering putting this on the ballot in 2020. In fact, Cerritos voted on it last week. One interesting fact I want to bring to your attention, data from the state shows that Paramount residents tend to shop outside of Paramount. As we can clearly show that there is a huge sales tax leakage in town. What that means is that many residents are already paying a higher sales tax amount elsewhere. So what have we done with regards to the proposed sales tax measure? We started doing a polling in May this year, and of course, we got very positive results. 66 respondents stated that Paramount provides better quality of life than neighboring cities. About 77% also stated they would support the sales tax measure. Therefore, a focus group was formed in September. After a thorough presentation and discussion, the focus group unanimously recommended to the City Council to place the measure in the next municipal election. City Council has reviewed this on October 1st as well as October 15th. An educational outreach flyer in both English and Spanish has been sent to all registered households. The flyer is also available at all city facilities. The flyer also includes a priority survey for our residents to voice their opinion. So far, as of today, we've gotten over 70 responses. This will help set priorities in the near future. Tonight, we're seeking council's approval in placing the add-on sales tax measure on the March 2020 election. If the City Council approves placing the measure on the ballot tonight, here is the ballot language. All the key priorities identified in the surveys are listed in here. In summary, Paramount has made tremendous progress over the last few decades. It's evidence that our residents are positive about city's direction. However, we are facing different challenges. Much changes and adjustments being made, yet we still see the expenditures are outpacing revenues. In order to continue providing vital city services, staff is recommending placing a sales tax measure, adding 0.75% to the existing sales tax to a total of 10.25%. More importantly, this will prevent sales tax going to another agency, and this will help keep sales tax local to benefit our own community. We think that our residents agree, as 77% of the survey respondents supported the measure. We're currently doing public outreach, and if this is approved by the council tonight by adopting the resolution, Paramount voters will decide that on March 3rd, 2020. It's recommended the City Council read by title only and adopt Resolution 19042. This wraps up my report, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions?
I have a couple.
Good.
I did read the staff report, and first of all, let me say this. If I seem a little out of it, I have a total migraine headache right now, but I'm going to try to get through this as quick as I can. So I read the staff report, and I know the staff is recommending the 0.75% increase. My concerns are this: has the city did enough due diligence as far as bringing in development to make up some of this money? I just don't want to put the burden on the residents of another, tax increase. Consider this. I don't know. I read the whole presentation, and I looked at the staff report, but it doesn't talk about if you have two equal businesses, let's say Walmart in Paramount and Walmart in Long Beach. If we keep our taxes lower than the other cities, that potentially could have shoppers come into Paramount to shop, because if they're buying something, let's say for $1,000, the tax is going to be less than Paramount, and that may bring them in when everybody else's taxes are up. My other concern is when you look at the stats of the other cities, Compton, Cudahy, Huntington Park, those are usually your underserved communities that are paying higher taxes, and they have been paying higher taxes according to your chart here. And a lot of times that's because they don't have a voice. So before we raise 0.75% tax, we didn't even come in and say 0.5%. We didn't come up with any other options. All I hear is AQMD and other entities likely may come and take that 0.75%, but likely isn't good enough for me to ask the residents to pay 0.25%. Now, I know I'm probably the only one that's not going to vote yes on this, but I want you to consider the people who came up here tonight to speak. And they were talking about parking concerns, but the things that came out of their mouth were homelessness, a paycheck away from maybe being homeless. We're talking about the working class poor that are working 2 or 3 jobs. And to have them shop in Paramount at a lower tax rate than neighboring cities might keep the dollars here, and it might just keep them 1 month longer in their home living here in Paramount. So I just think that there's more things or more considerations that we could have done, and we can still do. We don't have to do the 0.75%. AQMD, I read all their proposals, and that's only 1/4%. But at this time, I think we just need to do a little more due diligence here in the city. That's all.
Questions?
Yeah, the thing of it is, what I want to say too is an understanding, when we vote yes tonight, we're putting it on the ballot for you guys to decide if you want it or not.
That's right.
We are not deciding it for you. We are deciding to put it on the ballot for you, the residents, to decide if you want the sales tax increase. So I want to just make sure we all understand that. So it's not us making the decision.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. When we decide to put this on the ballot, we're going to be running a campaign that's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to run that campaign, and it might not even pass. So if we're in dire straits, that's really something we need to consider too. So that's it.
I'd just like to make a comment to follow up on that. I don't think it's a point of saying we're in dire straits. It's a point about making a plan for the future, because that's exactly what staff has warned us of, is that there isn't anything on the horizon that's going to fill the gap that I think we were looking at about 5 years before we didn't have enough money to operate at the level that we are now. And as far as doing due diligence with economic development, that's what the whole downtown and all the investment was about and everything that goes on. We do have an opportunity, of course, if and when the metro system goes in, to have some more development. But when you're in a built-out city, you are limited in what you can do. And even if development happens, it doesn't happen for years. Having set up here, I know how long it takes from concept to development to plan and the money to go with it. And unfortunately, when the state took redevelopment away from the cities, they cut a lot of our options with that. And then just to echo what Councilmember Olmos said, it's up to the voters. And that's whose hands I would like to leave it in, because if it gets voted down and we have to go back to the drawing board and we have to make more cuts, which we have done over and over again over the years in many different areas, then, we'll bite the bullet and we'll do that. There are lots of programs that the community would hate to see touched that would have to go first. So this is a way to try to keep services at the level that they are and to proceed. And I think it's very relevant that a lot of us, unfortunately, do a lot of our shopping in other areas because we don't have big malls here and we don't have auto centers. So we're already paying that sales tax to another city. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, any questions?
Mr. Mayor, if we could give one clarification on the impact of it, I want to turn it over to Karina.
Yes. Councilmember Gillen, I appreciate your questions. In fact, staff have looked at that thoroughly. Is there other options rather than increasing sales tax? We have looked at even sales tax measure back in 10 years ago. We didn't think that that was the right timing. We think that there were other ways we could increase revenue source or lower expenditures. And I believe that has been listed in some of the slides here. If you need further information, I'll be more than happy to meet with you. On your point about other revenue source options rather than sales tax, we did also look at partial tax opportunity. Currently, if we have done a research on taxable sales that a regular average Paramount household would spend in a year, it's approximately $10,000 in household items that would be taxable. And with this increase of 0.75%, the impact per household is $75 a year. Rather than a partial tax is at least $450 a year or even more. So we did look at that. And given the fact that other agencies may take up this sales tax portion, we feel that now is the time to do it. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion would be in order then at this point.
Make a
I'll move the
motion to
item.
approve the item.
Second.
Moved by Hoffmeyer, seconded by Lemmons, read by title only, and adopt resolution number 19.042. Grab roll call, please.
Councilmember Guillen?
No.
Councilmember Lemmons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes, to let the residents vote on it.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer?
Yes, and let the voters vote on it.
Mayor Hansen?
Yes. And we'll go from there. Item number 17, agreement amendments with TBWB Strategies. Staff report, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Kevin Chun, our Assistant City Manager, will handle this item. Kevin?
Yes, thank you, John. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. This item is a request to amend an agreement with the consulting firm of TBWB Strategies for their public education work related to the city's sales tax measure, which you just considered. As mentioned in the agenda report, TBWB was originally hired under the city manager's purchasing authority. This cost for TBWB's work was not to exceed $40,000. However, due to additional work requested by the city, the $40,000 limit will be exceeded and thus requires city council approval. So with this item, staff is requesting that the city council approve a $10,000 increase to $50,000 to cover additional costs. With the city council's approval of this item, staff will amend the agreement with TBWB through an agreement addendum that will be approved by the city attorney. While the total cost for this work isn't reflected in the current fiscal year budget, adjustments will be made to the account to account for this expense during the mid-year budget process next year. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, questions? No?
Make motion to approve the item.
Second.
Been moved by Hoffmeyer, seconded by Gillen? Okay, second by Gillen, to amend the agreement with TBWB Strategies. We have roll call, please.
Councilmember Gian,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes. Item 18, Community Art Program Update.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council. At the June City Council meeting, the council asked us to conduct research on murals in public areas. We've had our own Art in Public Places program for quite some time now. We've done some research on how other cities handle art in public places on a more wide-scale platform, which includes murals on private property that are visible to the public. So we wanted to come back to you and share this information that we have so far and ask for your feedback. So with that, I'll turn it over once again to our Assistant City Manager, Kevin Chun, who will handle the item. Kevin?
Yes, thank you again, John, and good evening again, Mr. Mayor and council members. As John mentioned, we're bringing this item forward for your review as a follow-up to the June 18th meeting, where you directed staff to conduct research on guidelines for murals and public art in general. With this presentation, I'll provide an overview of the city's current public art program and also discuss the development of a more formalized process for approving and managing public art. As you may know, the city's public art program was established in the mid-1980s as a means to help relieve some of the impacts of development in an urbanized environment and to enhance the appearance of our community. Since the program was initiated, the city has installed 37 art pieces in highly visible locations throughout the community. In the beginning, the program was based on voluntary contributions, which was positive as it involved the spirit of giving by the development community, but it didn't make for a steady revenue stream for public art programming. In 1993, a public art development fee was put into effect by the city. It's a fee associated with development projects for both commercial and residential projects. For commercial projects with a building permit valuation over $100,000, a 1% fee is collected for the public arts program. This also applies to residential projects if there are 5 or more units involved and the overall project is valued at more than $100,000. Over the years, funds in the public art development fee account has fluctuated depending on the number of building projects and art projects in the works. However, there's currently a balance of about $300,000. Oops. With the next several slides, I'll share examples of public art the city has installed over the years. These photos are of sculptures of ice skaters at the pond at the northeast corner of Paramount Boulevard and Jackson Street. These pieces help to add a nice aesthetic touch to our downtown and is intended to complement Paramount's historic Iceland skating rink, which is just down the street. And these are other examples of existing sculptures and statues the city has installed at parks and other public facilities that add interest and artistic beauty to our community. The city has also used large wall spaces as opportunities to bring more art into our parks and neighborhoods. These are photos of murals at Salute Park on the left and at the Caro Smith Neighborhood Pocket Park on the right. This was a very playful mural of a cheering crowd that helped to complete a small futsal court the city installed a few years back. In addition, to help soften urbanization and bring appeal to unattractive street features such as traffic signal control equipment boxes, the city has worked with the arts community to make these intrusive structures more interesting, whimsical, and pleasing art pieces. And these are more examples of the use of art pieces that have added charm and character to otherwise ordinary and uninteresting public areas. Now, public art can both add aesthetic quality to communities and can perhaps also have the opposite effect. Depending on the varying opinion of art, these are examples of artworks in cities on public and private property that some members of those communities have enjoyed or maybe not. In any case, because art can come in many different forms and can evoke different public reactions, staff would like to bring forward for the City Council's review a thoughtful proposal for regulating and approving public art on both private and public property in Paramount. The goal of this proposal would be to establish a formal process for managing public art in the community to bring about consistency and a level of predictability when it comes to art. To help us understand how to develop such a program, staff conducted a survey of 17 cities to see how they manage public art. And on our survey, some of the questions included, is art allowed in public places? Is public art codified in the municipal code? Is there a permitting process for public art? Is there a specific department within those cities that provide the oversight? And is there some body that provides the approval of public art? This is the same table showing the cities that were surveyed and the results that was included in your agenda report. From the survey, what we found is that in general, many cities have art in public places programs, but that the way these programs are managed varies widely from city to city. Some cities have their programs codified in their municipal codes, while others do not. Some have formal processes, while others don't. Also, cities have different departments that manage their programs, and only relatively few have some type of body for actually approving art projects. So, based on this information, staff is proposing a formalized process that would include new zoning ordinance language in the municipal code to regulate and approve art on private property. Similarly, staff is also proposing a resolution for the same purpose, but on public property. Considerations for both public and private property would include a definition of art, criteria for public art in Paramount, the approval processes, and establishing what would not be considered art. Again, creating such a process would bring about consistency and predictability to art in the city, which, as I mentioned earlier, can be fraught with differing opinions on what's considered good, bad, tasteful, and quality art, as well as what's acceptable and appropriate in neighborhoods, parks, and other places where artworks are visible to the public. In terms of next steps, staff will continue with its work on developing zoning ordinance language for the municipal code, as well as a resolution, and then come back to review a new art in public places program with the City Council in the near future. So with that, we ask for any feedback you might have in terms of comments, questions, and following that, we ask that you receive and file this report.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Let's go that way.
For
None?
time's sake, I'm gonna address it in an email.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? None?
Nope.
At this point, okay.
Move the item.
Second.
Moved by Lemons, second by Hoffmeyer to receive and file this report. We have staff report, please. You can't, what's going on
Councilmember
today?
Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lemons,
Jeez.
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer,
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes. Must have been that solicitor at 4 o'clock this morning. Comments or committee reports, council members. Where did I start last time?
Me.
Okay, we'll go down this end this time.
Everybody already commented on the Veterans Ball. It was very nice. Next year, I hope to see it a little more well-attended, but overall, it was a beautiful occasion. And then I'm just going to make this short. I just want to give a congratulations to our Public Works employees who are now represented by Teamsters 911. And I just wish you the best and moving forward. Thank you.
Good.
Same thing, I think, Dave, you guys did a fabulous job even with the Halloween carnival. There were so many people, there's so many kids, so many cute costumes. And thank you for adding the family category. I think that's a great idea. A couple things I think you're probably going to mention. Me and Mayor have been spending a lot of time together. We went to Praise Chapel anniversary on Sunday. Over 200 people there just to give thanks to Pastor Omar and Sister Lethieu, who've been actually doing fellowship here in the community for over 30 years. Didn't know, and they have 40 churches like
40.
all over the United States.
And one in Mexico.
Yeah, and Mexico. So great. It was a great celebration, good turnout. Mayor Hansen and I, again, we attended the Leaders Luncheon today. It was great to see Senator Gonzalez and the Congresswoman here in Paramount giving us updates on what's going on at the state level. So I'll let you, did I take your reign?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. I got something to add
Go
to
ahead.
it. No, I'll go down to this other end first.
I attended the Dios de Muertos event, and it was great. And I'd like to say thank you to all the members of Tepic Sister Cities who volunteered their time and put on such a great event for the city. I also was at the Halloween Carnival, and David, it's just amazing what you do. And Magda, the haunted house, scared the bejesus out of me again, and that's a good thing, so I'm glad that it raised money for scholarships for the students, and that it still is such a well-attended event by the community. I also attended the Veterans Ball, and I spent some time speaking with the Congresswoman, and I let her know that it was a few years ago that she had mentioned at a Memorial Day event, why don't we have Veterans Day events, and that we came back and talked to staff about it, and now there's so many things that we do. It's great. I know we have the pet adoption programs through SIACA, we have the parking for the veterans, we have the ball now that we're doing, and I just think that it's great that you've taken the lead on that, and it was nice to see your wife there and thank her for her service from all of us too. And also attended the event to receive we got a gold, right, award from the Beacon Award for sustainability, and that was a really nice event, and to be on their calendar and be gaining those awards is a tremendous thing. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I just want to say to David and his whole staff, what a great job you did at the military ball, and what a great job you did at Halloween. Even though I was out of town on Halloween, I'm sure it was a great success. And if anybody doesn't have anything to do on Friday night, Steve, it's for you. Paramount's going to be playing their first CIF game, and they're playing El Toro, and their record is 1-9, and Paramount's 9-1. So I think it's going to be a great game to go there and watch Paramount run good and everything like that. So if you have a guy anything to do, come out there. Paramount's got a great football team, and we need a good attendance this time. It's at Paramount.
At Paramount.
Starts at 7 o'clock.
Are you done?
I'm done, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they stole all my thunder, everything that I had to say. That was nice to attend the Institute of Local Government, the awards, and receive the Gold Award for our sustainability activities. One thing that wasn't mentioned about the Halloween carnival was that the haunted house thing brought in for a little over $4,700, I believe. Is
Great
that correct?
job.
It's going to be donated to PEP. The Praise Chapel celebration was really nice, and I had no idea that they've started like 40 churches. Probably most people out here didn't realize that either, I would assume. But that was a very nice program. The military ball, again, we were all there. That was really very nice, and Ken was taking pictures all the time, and then he'd bring them right down right away.
Yeah,
He
it's
had all his
amazing.
equipment there.
All
and-
that technology.
no, that fancy technology, yeah. Well, I got a camera that does almost that. What else did we not? Oh, Lena Gonzalez, our sheriff's captain, David Spraker, was at the luncheon today too, and spoke. They both spoke, and were both very complimentary of Paramount. And well, I better not say that. But there was probably close to 5,000 people, it was estimated by the sheriffs, that were at the Halloween carnival. So, and I guess I heard some rumor that there may be some kind of talk about changing Halloween to the last Saturday in October. And if we do that on a Saturday nationally, if they do that, and it's going to be on the last, we're going to have to get a bigger park. That's all there is to it. I mean, we left about, I don't know, it was 8:30, 8:15, and there was still large groups of people coming in at that point in time. So you guys did an outstanding job on that, and I'm sure with the holidays and everything coming up, they'll all be outstanding. So thank you very much. Staff?
Yes, sir. I mentioned earlier that the 18 metal companies had turned in their administrative action applications, so that's complete now. I put on your chair tonight 2 flyers regarding rent control. I know a couple of you, from the memo I sent you this morning, a couple of you have received some inquiries about this. There's a little confusion out there about the rent control measure adopted by LA County that only applies to unincorporated county areas. However, Assembly Bill 1482 does apply statewide. It doesn't go into effect until January 1 of 2020. So these 2 flyers I have for you, one is from the Fair Housing Foundation. That's our partners that we work with in these cases. So they've developed a little Q&A here for you. It's a 2-pager, as well as something from the California Apartment Association. They prepared a synopsis about AB 1482. So we'll have this available on our website. So if you do get more inquiries, you can refer them to the Fair Housing Foundation, as well as our website, where we will have more information about that. So, and that's it.
That's it?
Okay. I think we have to open that.
Well, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
We have to adjourn this meeting to the meeting on November 16th at 10 a.m. at Paramount Sheriff Station at, everybody knows, 15001 Paramount Boulevard. So this meeting is adjourned to then. Call the meeting to order for the Paramount Successor Agency for Redevelopment Agency. We have a roll call of members, please.
Councilmember Guillen. Councilmember Lemons.
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer.
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Here. Public comments.
No, sir.
Consent calendar.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Hoffmeyer, seconded by Olmos to approve the consent calendar. Do I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Guillen. Councilmember Lemons.
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer.
Yes.
Mayor Hansen.
Yes. Okay, this meeting is adjourned to December 3rd at 6 p.m.
Before we leave, we have to open the Paramount Housing Authority. Could I have roll call, please?
Councilmember Guillen. Councilmember Lemons.
Here.
Councilmember Olmos.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hoffmeyer.
Here.
Mayor Hansen.
Here.
Any public comments? The new business, I guess we've already taken care of that, so any comments from staff?
No, sir.
Commissioners? We'll adjourn this meeting then.
Okay.